So you have resentment not only towards Rev G, you've got resentment and anger towards his child by this YouTube uploader. This is some sick shit. I don't care what anybody says. This is what it is. And to sit here and try to hide behind the word weirdo, and I got more detail for you as to the enhancements behind this. So as far as this fired teacher who loves to come up and claim that Rev G is a danger to children, who exactly is a danger to children in your family besides yourself? I feel that is something that we need to look into. Don't get me to start investigating your family, you fired ass teacher, blowing methane gas farts into your couch, coming up here saying you're going to call the police on someone who didn't commit a crime and say that they are a danger to children, and then lying about being pro-black. That's the most anti-black bullshit I've ever heard. Getting black men arrested for sex crimes so they can be lynched in a jail and never come out of a jail alive. This is what she's trying to do. Who in your family is a risk to children besides yourself? Because I have a feeling it isn't just you. So she starts out with this at the very earliest time being in the Umar Johnson sector. And right along the same time, she was talking about how dangerous black men are. Listen, she came in saying this. What is your relationship with your father? We know it's hell. It's hell on earth because she told us that her father is a dog. She called her own father a dog. Then she tries to change it up later on to say that her father doesn't yell. He's a kind of man that's pretty even keel. But then she said another time that her father would kill somebody if someone did something to her. Now, I want to use a qualifier because somebody can be calm, cool, collected, but that can light a match in them if you mess with their family members. That's true. She lies too much to believe anything that she says as being credible, except for the unguarded moments. The unguarded moments was when she called her father a dog. She called her father a dog, and she essentially borrows other people's family dynamics and interactions, because I have said that many times. Many times I've said that about how me and my siblings were raised. Our father was not someone who raised his voice. Likewise, our mother did not raise us in fits of hysteria. Yes, she had her moments, but few and far between, and they did not last long. The message, loud and clear. They want to see you locked up in a jail cell. They want to see you hanging from the tree. They want to see you act the fool like a circus animal. They love it. They want to see you jacked up, trumped up, in trouble. They want to see you acting the fool. Just like you see Carrie Ann, this is what they want to see you. They want to see you screaming and hollering, running around, act like you had no home training, that you got no damn sense. That's what they're expecting from you. So that's the message. Keep your cool. There's no reason for you to lose it and just go off the handle so they can do whatever they want with you. Shoot you, put you in jail, hang you from a tree, jump on you. She's up here saying the same thing. She's out there copying people's family background. But let me tell you something. Here's the idea. Does she embody that? If this is how she was raised, in an upbringing, in a household where you had a leader, a very strong leader, who didn't rule by screaming and hollering and tended not to quickly react to things, wouldn't you see that behavior in her? Wouldn't you see some of it? She can't even control herself. She has so little self-control, and it only lasts for a very brief period of time. She's a liar. She is telling us what we pretty much already know. You got folks in your family who are a danger to children. This is why it's on your mind all the time. Rev G's on TikTok. Somebody likes his video. He follows them. He doesn't care who it is. None of the parents have complained. He never changed his TikTok. Unlike these subjects, both take down their videos. What are you trying to hide? You are trying to hide something, and all the other comments that they say about family, the unguarded moments, are the truth. When they're not really trying to present a story, they're just in autopilot mode, angry, out of control, and they need a target. And here is the slingshot word, weirdo. Now, if you really think about it, do you think either one of these subjects would have liked the relationships they have with their children and their father? Or would they like the relationship Rev G has with his daughter? We don't even need to answer that. It's rhetorical. They hate it. They resent it. Every time Rev G has been with his child and he's online, it reminds them of what they didn't have. And you tell me that a child is happy. The father is posting photographs of the child at events with the father, and the child's not happy. The child's face is always poked out. The child doesn't want to be with this father, and he knows that. It doesn't matter how confident and how right the parent feels. If the child doesn't want to be with you, that must make you feel like shit. Obviously, what are you going to do about it? You're going to take it out on somebody on YouTube who you see, who you witnessed, does have a good relationship with their child. Let's go a little bit further with this. I want you to look at this chart here. This is what I call the bare necessities. The life of a, quote, weirdo father, unquote. You can ask either one of those subjects that I'm talking about. Number one, as a father, how many of these things have you done with your children? This is bare minimum. This is like daily life. I'm not even going to include recreation on this list. This is just the normal part of everyday life. What is your level of involvement in hours, in weeks and months and years? Quantify that for me, please. Have you spent this amount of time with your child doing any of these things? They know good and damn well Rev G has. This is why they hate him so much, because he has this relationship with all of his children. He's been heavily involved with his children doing all of these things. And I'm going to just put it out there. I'll give parents in general, the vast majority of parents, I give them the benefit of the doubt that they do the same thing. I'm pro-parent. I give parents the benefit of the doubt. In my line of work, I'm telling you straight away, I go in, but the parent is right because the parent has the tools. I'm not saying the parent doesn't do things they shouldn't be doing, and I'll deal with that, but the parent has it going on. That's my position that I assume. That's the correct position to assume. Most parents are doing the right thing. The vast majority of parents know exactly what to do with their children. That's how it is. So you have these exceptions, absolutely exceptions. And these two are exceptions. Now, the other subject, how many of these things did your father do with you? How many? Essentially none, which is why this is the target, this is the attitude that she assumes with Rev G. This is why when she was at that school, Tucker High School, she had problems because she was targeting children and humiliating them and putting their emails up on the big screen so no other children or students would send her emails. And what are the students sending this teacher emails anyway for? Those emails should be going to the parent. Now, if the parent agrees the kids can be CC'd, teachers should not be emailing students one-to-one. Nothing coming from that school should go directly to the child. The parent needs to know what the hell's going on. That way you get this abuse shit knocked out of there because you have this abusive, fired teacher. That is abuse to take a child's email and put it on the screen to try and discourage not only that student, but other students from, quote, complaining. The emails should have gone to the parent, and the parent can decide whether they want their child on as a CC. Nothing should go past the parents. I don't care if they're in high school. Nothing gets past the parent. That's how you keep the child protected. Otherwise, you have these fools like the fired teacher from Tucker High School. You would avoid the situation that you had with the news. If that abomination knew the parents were first line contact, she wouldn't have been making comments like, that's biracial of you. That's also abuse. There's a lot of things that were going on. But here's the deal. Look on the list. Did you do any of these things with your child? Did your dad do any of these things with you? And if so, how much in quantity? Now, let me say this. You don't have to live with your child in order to do these things. You can spend quality time with your child without living under the same roof. You don't have to be married to the parent. I am saying those parents who don't have the relationship with their child that Rev G has, specifically, I'm talking about these two subjects. On one hand, you have a father who trashes his own daughter to adults on YouTube, and then you have another who loves to call her own father a dog. She didn't have the relationship with her father that Rev G has with his daughter, and she hates it. That's why she's got to make up all these stories about her family. Who has to make up stories about your family? Our families are who they are. There's no perfect family. You can try your hardest. You can do right by your kids, and they still are ultimately going to do what they decide to do. But to turn around and try to attack a father whose children have absolutely come out to be stellar citizens, responsible citizens, upstanding citizens, based on the fact that they were raised by Rev G and their mother. This is what they hate. That's why they're always attacking him. They can't say anything else. Weirdo. You should try and be a, quote, weirdo. You'd be in a better situation you are now. Maybe your kid might like you. It's not Rev G's fault you have a shitty relationship with your child. It's not Rev G's fault that you had a shitty relationship with your dad. That's got nothing to do with Rev G. But in the meantime, they want to try to tear down Rev G. They want to attack his child. They want to sexualize his child, allow his child to be sexualized, and target the child out of resentment as if it's her fault. So that's a dual attack. So again, take this list and put it on your freaking refrigerator. Tell yourselves, how many of these things have I done with my child? And this is bare minimum. I'm not even getting into recreation. Nothing about recreation, nothing about fun. It starts here. But as you can see, if you jump over to recreation and you got nothing else in between, the kid doesn't even want to be with you. Got her face all poked out, her mouth all poked out, not happy. But that is not Rev G's problem. Rev G didn't create the situation, but you want to make sure you vilify him by calling him a weirdo. Well, you should try to be a weirdo. Maybe your kid would like you a little bit better. It's a slingshot word. It's a diversionary term to try to get people to look in another direction instead of at you. That is why when people ask him questions, he gets very anxious, he gets very mad, he starts telling people he's going to drop him from the panel, and I don't want to talk about it. If you go to another platform, then you try to ask him questions, he gets all discombobulated. He doesn't want to talk about it. Why doesn't he want to talk about his life and his family and his kids? He always wants to talk about yours. Ask yourselves the same question. You need to worry about your own damn self and quit attacking people for being good fathers. It's something you should have learned. Someone should have taught you, or you should have acquired it on your own. But you're bashing fathers who are responsible, who do what they do, what's expected, which is on this list. It's not like a badge of honor. It's what a father does. It's not a special reward. It's the bare necessities of life. And you can't even do the bare necessities of life. You can't even meet the bare necessities. If your kid came up to you on any given day, Daddy, can I have $3? Would you be able to give it to them? The answer is no. You're not going to be able to do that. So if you're trashing somebody who's gainfully employed, who supports his family, who's a responsible father, responsible husband, upstanding community member, that's the problem. That is why all this anger comes out towards Rev G. Just explosive anger. Cannot stand the fact because he's a reminder of what you are not. Listen, folks, you know I got more coming your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.